All right, so get ready because today we're going deep into the world of azizi aethona.
Azizi, aethona.
Yeah, have you heard of them?
I have actually, yeah. Their name rings a bell.
So they're this 20-year-old
Okay.
Ethiopian, get this, cyborg EDM composer.
Whoa, that's a mouthful.
Well,
Cyborg EDM composer.
I know, right? And you requested this deep dive to try to understand their album Unwritten Chapters.
Okay.
And there's some writing that goes along with it. And it's all exploring trans identity and resistance and self-discovery.
So like social commentary through music.
Yeah. And they draw a lot of inspiration from the philosophies of 𝗧𝗪𝗓.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I'm
So
ready for this.
I am very intrigued. This is going to be quite the deep dive.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we're talking a digital character named Seven
Okay.
with 7 different vocal styles.
Oh, wow.
Traditional Ethiopian instruments like woven into this cutting-edge EDM. It's going to be wild.
I'm excited.
So first things first.
Yeah.
Azizi is a 20-year-old trans non-binary artist. And their name, Azizi, actually means beloved or dear in Ethiopia.
Oh, how lovely.
I know, right? And their family specifically chose that name
Okay.
to emphasize love and self-acceptance.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's really beautiful.
I think so, too. And so then we've got this concept album called Unwritten Chapters.
Okay.
And it's telling a story of self-discovery and resilience. It's almost like Azizi is giving a voice to people who haven't had a chance to tell their own stories.
Right.
And sort of urging them to reclaim their narratives.
Yeah, that's so important, especially
Yeah.
for marginalized communities to be able to tell their own story.
Exactly. And musically, this album is all over the place in the best way possible. We've got Ethiopian trance, EDM, soul, ballad, hip-hop, even a touch of punk.
Oh, wow. So they're really like genre bending.
Yes.
In a very like deliberate way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it really reflects that breaking free from expectations,
Yeah.
that self-discovery theme that we see.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the tracks that really stood out to me is Shadows on the Wall. It's this a cappella piece
Okay.
that deals with that harmful evil deceiver trope
Mm.
that's often associated with trans people.
Right, right. A very damaging trope that we need to dismantle for sure.
Yeah, and so it's really haunting.
Mm-hmm.
It uses that a cappella style to create this sense of vulnerability and isolation.
Mm-hmm.
But then it shifts into this powerful affirmation of strength and resilience, almost like Azizi is reclaiming that narrative and turning it on its head.
Yeah, taking back the power.
Exactly.
I love that. And that's probably where 𝗧𝗪𝗓 comes in.
Yes.
The philosopher we mentioned earlier.
So 𝗧𝗪𝗓's work focuses on trans beauty, identity, and resistance.
Right.
And she really challenges that evil deceiver trope
Yeah.
and calls for the empowerment of trans voices.
Exactly. And it seems like Azizi's music is doing just that.
Yeah.
Like taking those philosophies and making them,
Putting them into practice.
yeah, and putting them into practice through music, which is
Yeah.
more accessible for everyone, not just academics.
Absolutely.
So have you listened to Bridges of Love yet?
No, not yet. But I've heard it uses this digital character named Seven
Yeah.
to illustrate this idea of unity and diversity within the LGBTQIA plus community.
Right, so 7.
And I've heard that Seven has 7 different synthesized voices
Yes.
that each have their own musical style.
Yes, exactly. It's wild. It's like Azizi created this sonic representation of the spectrum of identities within the community.
Okay, so walk me through this.
Okay, so you've got the chorus voice, which represents kind of like community and unity.
Okay.
And then you've got the verse, which acts as like the storyteller.
Okay.
And then the bridge, which is for introspection.
Uh-huh.
The ad lib, which is kind of like playful rebellion. Background vocals representing the collective strength of the community.
Okay.
Solo voice for individual assertion.
Wow.
And then harmony, which is the voice that kind of ties everything together.
So it's this musical tapestry of voices and experiences. It's like Azizi is saying that even though there's so much diversity within the community,
They're all connected.
right, by this like shared struggle, this shared history.
And this shared hope for a better future.
Exactly. And I think what's really interesting is that Azizi uses technology to create this character.
Right.
Like they're saying that technology can be a tool for creating empathy and understanding.
Yeah, it's not just about the technology itself, it's about how it's used.
Exactly.
And in Azizi's hands, it's this powerful instrument for both social change and artistic expression.
Absolutely. And, you know, another thing that really sets Azizi apart is how they blend traditional Ethiopian musical elements with, like, modern EDM sounds.
Yeah.
And it's not just surface level. It's very intentional and meaningful.
Oh, yeah. They use instruments like the ꗑᗕ and the ꗓ𝗓𝗄,
Yes.
which are these string instruments, and they weave them into these electronic soundscapes.
Exactly. So these ancient melodies are like being reinterpreted for a new generation.
And a good example of this is the track Spectrum Bloom,
Oh, yeah. What a great track.
which is this high-energy dance track.
Yeah. But it's also infused with these beautiful Ethiopian rhythms and melodies.
It's such a celebration of self-expression.
Yes, on so many levels.
Yeah.
I love how azizi isn't afraid to embrace all these different aspects of their identity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, their cultural heritage, their trans identity. It's all intertwined.
Right, and it makes the music that much richer.
It really does.
And, you know, this idea of embracing all parts of yourself is also present in the novella that comes with the album.
Okay.
In the novella, Azizi introduces us to these AI companions.
AI companions.
I know, right? They're called the Artificial Sisters.
What?
Arya, Luna, Kaida, and Zephyr.
Okay.
They represent different facets of wisdom and creativity and understanding,
It's interesting.
and they guide and support Azizi throughout their journey.
So AI companions. Like artificial intelligence.
Yeah, like a digital support system.
That's wild.
I know, right?
It makes you wonder how having these AI companions, these artificial sisters, in their creative process changes how azizi approaches their art.
Right.
Yeah, it's a new way of thinking about collaboration and inspiration.
Totally. It raises a lot of questions about technology's role in art and in our lives.
I think this is where the real deep dive begins.
Definitely. This is just the beginning.
Next, I think we need to look at Bridges of Love and see how all these elements, the music, the lyrics, the technology, the cultural influences, how they come together to create something really unique and impactful.
Yeah, I think Bridges of Love might hold the key to understanding Azizi's full message.
I think so too.
Their vision for a more inclusive future.
Yeah.
So Bridges of Love isn't just a catchy song title.
Yeah.
This song really embodies Azizi's vision for a better world, you know?
Okay, so we know that it's about queer trans solidarity,
Right.
but how does that actually play out musically? What makes this song the heart of the album?
Well, remember how we were talking about Seven?
Yeah.
That digital being
Yeah.
with the 7 voices?
It's like a whole choir in one digital entity.
Exactly. And in this song, in Bridges of Love, those voices really come together in this powerful way.
Okay.
Each one adding their own texture and emotion to the song.
So it's really demonstrating.
Yeah, Azizi isn't just telling us that these different identities exist. They're showing us how these identities can interact and support each other.
Right. It's like a musical conversation.
Yeah.
This dialogue between different voices that create this beautiful harmony.
Yeah, and the lyrics also really emphasize this idea of solidarity.
Okay.
There's this one line that really stuck with me. It says, "We've been divided by hate and fear, but we won't be silenced, we won't be held dear."
It's powerful.
It is. It's a declaration of defiance, a refusal to be marginalized.
You can feel that defiance in the music, too.
Oh,
The
absolutely.
driving beat, the soaring vocals.
It's not just about unity. It's about fighting for that unity.
Yes, demanding that recognition and respect.
Right. And going back to the evil deceiver trope
Yeah.
that we talked about earlier, Bridges of Love, really directly challenges that by showcasing how authentic and diverse these LGBTQIA+ voices are.
It's like Azizi saying, hey, look, we're not just this monolithic group that could be easily stereotyped. We are individuals with our own stories, our own struggles, and our own triumphs.
Exactly. And by doing that, they dismantle that idea that trans people are somehow deceitful,
Right.
untrustworthy.
And instead, the song presents trans people as these complex, multifaceted individuals
Right.
deserving of love and respect.
Just like everyone else.
Exactly.
It's a really good reminder that empathy and understanding are the foundations of any inclusive society.
And it's not just the lyrics and the vocals that get this message across.
Right.
Remember how Azizi blends in their Ethiopian heritage?
Yeah.
Well, in Bridges of Love, they use those cultural influences to build this incredibly rich soundscape.
Yeah, it's like another layer of interconnectedness.
You can hear those traditional instruments, the
Yeah.
ꗑᗕ, the ꗓ𝗄, woven into the electronic textures.
They're bringing together all these musical traditions from all over the world.
Right, and it creates this unique sound that feels universal
It really does. It's kind of like a sonic metaphor, you know?
for the kind of world that Azizi is envisioning.
Yeah, where cultural differences are celebrated.
Yeah, not feared or suppressed.
Exactly.
I love that. It's like Azizi's building these sonic bridges
Mm-hmm.
between cultures, showing us that we have more in common than we think.
And you know what's cool? Remember those AI companions?
Oh, yeah, the artificial sister?
From the novella.
Yeah.
Well, they're not just passive observers.
Okay.
They're actually involved in the creative process.
Wait, so Azizi's collaborating with AI?
Yeah. Like bouncing ideas off of these digital beings.
That's wild. I mean,
Pretty crazy, right?
it makes you wonder how that collaboration shapes the music.
Yeah. Does it bring a new perspective?
Yeah.
A new way of thinking about sound and emotion?
Right. I mean, it's really challenging our assumptions about where creativity comes from and how technology can enhance artistic expression.
It makes you think about what it means to be an artist today in the digital age. Like, are we headed towards a future where humans and AI are constantly collaborating?
Yeah, it's like we're seeing a future where the lines between human and machine are blurred.
And Azizi's right at the forefront of that.
Yeah.
One thing that really struck me about Bridges of Love was how Azizi uses these contrasting musical styles to create this sense of tension and release, almost like they're mirroring the struggles and the triumphs of the LGBTQIA+ community.
You can hear these moments of dissonance
Yeah,
and chaos.
which reflects the discrimination faced by the community.
Yeah, and then those moments resolve into this beautiful harmony,
Yes.
this feeling of hope and resilience
Exactly. Like Azizi is taking us on this emotional journey.
through the darkness into the light.
Yeah. And this journey isn't just for the LGBTQIA+ community.
No.
It's for anyone who has ever felt marginalized.
Right. Anyone who has ever had to fight for their right to be seen and heard.
Exactly. It's a reminder that even when facing adversity, there's always hope and strength and this possibility of finding connection and community.
And that's what's so powerful about Azizi's music.
Right?
It's not just about entertainment. It's about creating this space for empathy and understanding
Yeah.
and ultimately change.
You know, we've been talking a lot about the music, but it's also important to remember that Azizi is a performance artist, too.
Oh, yeah.
Their live shows are supposed to be incredible.
I've heard they incorporate holographic projection.
Yeah.
And these elaborate costumes and interactive elements.
It's like they create a whole new world on stage.
And it's a world full of these thought-provoking juxtapositions.
Yeah, you see the ancient and the futuristic.
Right?
The organic and the synthetic.
Yeah.
The personal and the political.
It's all colliding.
It is. It's vibrant and dynamic.
And those juxtapositions aren't just visual.
Right, right. They're sonic, too. Remember how we talked about how Azizi blends traditional Ethiopian instruments with modern electronic sounds? Well, they do the same thing visually, creating these contrasts between ancient imagery and futuristic technology.
Yeah, it's like they've created a visual language that reflects these complexities of their identity.
Right.
How they blend their cultural heritage with their trans identity.
Exactly. And the visuals aren't just for show.
Yeah.
They're part of the storytelling.
Right.
They add layers of meaning and symbolism.
So it's like a multi-sensory experience.
Yes.
The music, the visuals, the technology, it all works together
To tell a story.
to convey a message,
Yeah.
to evoke an emotion.
Azizi's a true artist.
Right.
They're not just a musician. They're a world builder.
Yeah, and the world that they're building embraces diversity,
Yeah.
celebrates individuality, and it challenges us to rethink the boundaries of connection and artistic expression.
And speaking of connection, something that really stands out about Azizi is their commitment to community.
Yeah.
They've created this network of support and collaboration, both online and offline,
Okay.
with other artists and activists who share their vision.
Yeah. It's like they're building a movement.
A movement powered by creativity and compassion,
Yeah.
and a shared desire to make the world a better place.
And you see that community reflected in their music too, right?
Absolutely. Like, remember how they collaborated with other LGBTQIA+ artists on Bridges of Love?
Yeah.
It wasn't just about making a popular song. It was about highlighting these marginalized voices and showing the power of solidarity.
Right. It's like Azizi saying, we're stronger together. We can achieve anything when we support each other.
Exactly. And that message goes beyond just the music.
It's a message that we all need to hear.
Yeah, now more than ever.
It's inspiring to see an artist like Azizi using their platform to create real change.
And you know what? Azizi is just getting started.
Yeah.
They're young, they're talented, and they're not afraid to take risks.
So I'm really curious to see what they do next.
Me too. It feels like we're watching an icon in the making.
Yeah, an artist who is not afraid to challenge the status quo.
And push boundaries. And speaking of pushing boundaries, there's one more aspect of Azizi's work that I think we should talk about. Their use of the term spectral illumination.
Spectral illumination. I don't think we've talked about that yet.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Well, it's like Azizi is shining a light on the complexities of being trans,
Oh, okay.
illuminating the parts that people often overlook or misunderstand. It's like they're saying, look, we're not just one thing. We're a spectrum of experiences, identities, and expressions.
Yeah.
And that's something to celebrate, not fear.
Right. It's like taking the concept of the spectrum of the rainbow flag and expanding it.
Yes, to include the full range of human experience.
And they're doing this through their art.
Yeah, through their music, through their storytelling.
Showing us that the world is so much more vibrant and rich when we embrace diversity.
I think it's a powerful message.
Yeah. And it's expressed so beautifully through their work.
It really is.
So on that note, I think it's time to take a breath and think about everything we've learned about Azizi and their incredible work.
This has been quite the journey.
It really has.
We've only just scratched the surface, though.
Yeah.
There's so much more to unpack.
But for now, let's take a moment to gather our thoughts and get ready for the final part of our deep dive.
Okay.
We'll be right back to wrap things up and share some final thoughts and maybe even some resources so you can continue your exploration of Azizi's world.
Yeah, don't go anywhere. This conversation's far from over.
So we made it, our final deep dive into the world of Azizi aethona.
It's amazing, isn't it, how much there is to uncover with just one artist.
I know. I feel like we've just scratched the surface, but we covered a lot of ground.
We did. And I think before we wrap things up, we need to circle back to that idea of spectral illumination.
Okay, spectral illumination.
Yeah.
It felt really key to me, too, when we were talking about it.
It really gets to the heart of Azizi's message.
Yeah. So remind me what we were saying about it again.
So Azizi's music isn't just about self-expression. It's about illuminating the full spectrum of trans experiences, making the invisible visible.
It's like they're taking that rainbow flag
Mm-hmm.
and they're saying, hey, there's so much more to this than just the colors.
Right.
Every single shade represents a unique person and a story waiting to be told.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And by blending those shades, those individual stories, Azizi creates this tapestry that reflects the diversity and complexity of the trans community.
I mean, it makes me think about how Azizi uses 7 in Bridges of Love.
Right.
Each of those voices representing a facet of the LGBTQIA+ experience.
And yet they all come together.
Yeah, and they create this harmony.
It's like Azizi is saying, we're all part of this spectrum. Our differences make us strong, but we're united by our shared humanity, our shared desire for love and acceptance.
Okay, so I think we've explored Azizi's work pretty thoroughly.
Yeah.
So what can we do as listeners? How do we take what we've learned and apply it to our own lives?
Well, I think Azizi's work challenges us to be more aware of the spectrums that exist everywhere, not just within the LGBTQIA+ community, but in all parts of human experience.
It's about recognizing that people aren't one-dimensional.
Right.
We all contain multitudes.
Exactly. We all have so many layers, so many identities, so many stories that shape who we are.
And instead of trying to put people into boxes,
Yeah.
we should be embracing their complexity,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Their contradictions, their unique blend of experiences.
Yeah, it's about listening with open hearts and open minds.
Yeah, seeking to understand instead of judge.
And it's about using our voices to support others.
Right.
Maybe even amplifying the voices of those who are often silenced.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I'm going to leave you with a thought.
Okay.
What are the spectrums that exist in your life?
It could be the spectrum of your own identity,
Yeah.
the different roles that you play, the different communities that you belong to.
Right. Or maybe it's a spectrum of perspectives on a certain topic, different viewpoints that need to be considered.
Challenge yourself to look at the world through a more nuanced lens,
Right.
a lens that recognizes and celebrates the beauty of diversity.
Because Azizi Aethona's work shows us that embracing the spectrum with all of its complications and all of its beauty is the key to building a more just and compassionate world.
Absolutely. And we hope this deep dive has inspired you to listen more deeply, think more critically, and engage more meaningfully with the world around you.
And if you're interested in learning more about Azizi Aethona and their work, we'll make sure to post links to their music and their writing and some interviews where you can get even more insights into their vision and their creative process.
So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep embracing the spectrum.
Thanks for joining us.